Hi everyone, thank you for watching Funk Stylers TV. I'm Inga and today we're talking to Clara Bajado, also known as Clara de Paris. Clara in the house, and that's probably not all of the nicknames she has. Clara is a tutor, a mentor, a leader, a performer, a dancer. Basically, she's one of those people that she does so many things that it's hard to keep the track of all of them. But today, we got her for one day, well, a few hours, maybe not a few hours, but just, yeah, a little time. And then we're going to talk to her about her teaching, her inspirations, a little bit about her background. I have 21 questions, like 50 Cent. And yeah, so let's start. So can you tell me, Clara, what are your family origins?
So both of my parents are from the Philippines. And they moved in France in the early 80s. So they were from like the first generation of Filipinos in France. And they moved because my dad was a chef cook. So he was called like, because there was the first Filipino restaurant opening in Paris. So they moved there. And a year later, I was born.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
No, no siblings. I have a half-sister from my dad's side.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So can you tell me, what were you like as a child?
I think I was, I was an hyperactive kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah, I was always all around the place. I couldn't really stay calm. It was quite hard for my parents. But yeah, I think I was a cool kid, but a bit annoying.
Well, some kids are, but gotta deal with them, right? Did you always want to become a dancer?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Like, I wanted to be a dancer. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a princess. I wanted to do like so much things when I was a kid. But so my dad was a chef cook when he came to France. But before that, like, he was a former ballroom dancer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I grew up with music all around the house, with my dad like dancing like all over the place. So yeah, he was my first dance teacher.
Nice.
So yeah, I've always been like around not the dance scene as we know it, but always around artists. So yeah, I've always wanted to be a dancer.
That's really cool. That's really cool that you get to do this now.
Yeah.
When and how did you start dancing, apart from being around your dad, and how did you start learning hip-hop and house?
I started with modern jazz when I was 6, 7. I did it for a few years. Then after, I was more into sports. So I was doing basketball and volleyball.
Really?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I know. But what is this? I was always dancing on the side, but I was more into sports. Then at the age of 15, I just wanted to do dance because I had to choose basically. So I just wanted to dance, and that's when I started to go to dance classes, like back in Paris. My first street dance class was taught by a lady called Elsa back in the days. Then a year later, I met Carl Ken Wong, who was like one of my teachers like for quite a long time, and who trained me like in mainly like all the street dance styles. So that's really when like I started and discovering street dance and hip hop culture.
Okay, and house?
And house, maybe a year after, we had a show, and Carl called Zoer, who's now a DJ. He's still a dancer, but he's more now like known as DJ Erzo. And he came to choreograph a piece for us. So, but I wasn't into house, like I had to learn the routine, so I just did it. And then at the same time, so when was it? Yeah, so I was about 16. I was 16, and at that time, at 17, I would say, I had a classmate who was not a dancer, but who loved to go out. And there was this club like in Paris called The Queen, who was strictly gay, but every Wednesday it was open to everyone, and it was called Respect. So it was the Respect night. And she was like, yeah, come with me, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, but I used to found house music, I used to relate house music to drugs and to, you know, like I didn't know nothing about it, about the culture. And when I went the first time at the Respect night at Queen's, I saw a circle of house dancers. So there were people like Yuxon, Salah was there, Tip was there, Baba was there, just like loads of dancers. Dilo was there, because it was at the time like where Dilo was still in France. And so, yeah, and from there, like I was like, wow, this is crazy. And it was not only house, because as I said, like there were house dancers, but there were like street dancers dancing on house music. And from there, like I just went like to different house nights, like in France. There was a night like called Open House in different places in Paris. You had the Cheers night. You had what club? Sorry, I'm just like trying to dig into my
into your past.
Yeah, into my, no, this is quite annoying because it's a really well-known club. But yeah, like you have like few places that really made my house culture history, basically. And then in '98, Brian Green came for the first time, like in France, to teach a workshop with Jazzy J. And so it was amazing. It was just like, there was, yeah, from when I met Brian, I was like, oh, I just want to do that. Like that's it. And the same year, a few months later, we went with Ricky Soul to New York for a few months, and that's when we met Shannon Whichway, who was really a big influence as well. Shannon, the other Shannon, Shan S, sorry, Marjorie, Khalif. Yeah, that's when we met like everyone.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So, why did you decide to move in UK, and what was the hardest thing to adapt to when you moved in UK?
I didn't really decide to move to UK first.
Okay.
It was circumstances. A personal situation made me come to the UK, because I didn't know where to go, and my cousin lives here, and it was summer, and I just wanted to get out from Paris after a breakdown. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go to the UK. I knew that Dilo was here, Vesti was here, Norman was here. So I was like, okay, it's cool, I'm just gonna hang out with them. And so I came, and at first, like that summer, I just chilled. And that's when I get to see them again. And after that summer, I just fell in love with London. Yeah. So I came back. I was coming back like maybe every month or every 2 months. I was just saving money and spending all my money here. We were going to club like every night when I was here. And yeah, and from there, like obviously, like I was coming back every time. I was spending all my French money here. So I was like, okay, I have to find a way like to have money and not spending my money there from Paris. So I started to teach a workshop here. I started to teach a workshop at Pineapple, just to get like some cash so that I can spend here and do shopping and whatever. And it was quite hard because it was a time when people didn't know you, they won't go to your class.
Yeah.
And when I started in Pineapple, basically, they asked me what I wanted to teach, and I say, yeah, I want to teach hip hop. And they say like, yeah, but there's a loads of hip hop classes here. And I say, yeah, I know, because when I came here, like, I just like to go to different classes because it was completely different from Paris. So I was just like trying different classes in Pineapple because it was the studio that I knew back in the days. And they said, no, there's too much hip hop classes, so it won't work. And I was like, yeah, but our hip hop is completely different from your hip hop. Like, our hip hop is really influenced from New York, and your hip hop is more influenced, like, it's more choreo based and it's more influenced from LA. And sorry.
Happens.
But they said, yeah, but because the title is the same, like, people won't see the difference. If, what would be the content of the class? So they asked me if I was teaching something else, and I was like, yeah, house dance, but no one knows house dance.
Well,
like, it's
when was this actually?
96. No, I'm lying. I'm so lying. 2005.
Okay.
2005.
Yeah.
And I knew that I knew that Dilo, Vesti, Norman were here and they were dancing house, but they were clubbers. So apart from people who went to club or some dancers that knew them, like, the audience of the studios didn't really know about the style. So I said, okay, I do house dance, but I don't know if it's gonna work because people don't know. So I started to do workshops, like 1, 2, not really busy. Only risky people came to my,
people.
you know, like, okay, what is this? Like, let's try. And then I've been contacted by Dance to Excess manager to teach for Dance to Excess, which I was quite surprised. I was like, okay, but like, my style is completely different from what you guys like usually do. And she was like, no, because like, there's some people from Dance to Excess who came to your class and they talked to me about your class, and I think that it's really good, like, to have something else. So I was like, okay. And so I taught like few workshops for Dance to Excess, and that really helped me because obviously, like, Dance to Excess was quite big, with a lot of followers. So yeah, like, I was maybe touching another audience that I was thinking of, which was really great. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that because I think like they're the one that really pushed me like into teaching here. So still like just workshops, just going back and forth. Then a year later, that's when I started to create in the house. So yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about in the house actually later.
Did I answer the question? Because
yes,
I think I took a lot.
No, that's good.
Okay,
that's
cool.
Good. People want to find out about you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously that was back then, and now you still, you know the scene in UK, well, in London, and you know the scene in Paris. What are the similarities and what are the differences? Well, in street dance, I mean.
In street dance? Okay. So I'll go back first to France and when I started. So when I started in France with street dance, I didn't really know the names. And I mean, we created with friends of mine like a crew called Septième Sens.
What does it mean?
The Seventh Sense. And it's from a manga. It's from... how do you call it? It's called Les Chevaliers du Zodiaque in French.
Something zodiac.
You'll have to Google it because I don't really know the name in English. So we created our crew because we used, like in France, like when we were watching our eldest, yeah. So for us, like the group that was similar to what we were doing, and that we were looking how do you say, up to, was wanted. Because you had like people that were doing house, hip hop, b-boying, like they were doing like much the style that we were doing, that we were practicing. And when we saw them and other crews, obviously, but I'm talking about France, like it was pretty much like of, oh, let's do a crew as well, you know. So with my friends, like with Ricky Soul, Marion from Swaggers now, and Sandrine Sainte-Croix, who's more like into the walking scene and Vogue scene now, and other dancers that are no more dancers but are still dance lovers. We created Septième Sens. And then from the classes and from our training, that's when we started like to find out the names, the style, like everything. So I would say we've been like really trained like into our foundations, but we were quite free. Like no one told us like this is not hip hop or this is not how you pop. And our first routine with Septième Sens, in a how do you say? In one count of 8, we were doing like looking, popping, hip hop, top rocking, and we felt like so fly, you know. We felt cool, and no one was telling us like, oh no, you know, like you really have to be like this or like that. And I think that because we've been embraced by our elders to continue what we were doing, we just carry on, you know. And when we learn more about the styles, that's when we say like, okay, so I want to specialize in here. But at first, like it was just about dance and street dance. So that was more like to explain like in what atmosphere I've been growing up. I've been evolving in street dance in Paris. So when I first came here, I didn't really know about the underground scene. I know there was an underground scene because people like Nasty, for example, he used to come to London in late 70s, early 80s to go to clubbing. Oh yeah. Because it was like the big clubbing era and the place to be back in the days when he was talking to me. Then after that, so I didn't really know because the people that I was hanging with, apart like from the French people, they were people that were part of other crews, but I mostly saw them in shows, and there was no battles. There was only jump off when I came. So that's the only thing that I was seeing, like in terms of battle, and I didn't know about UK champs yet. So yeah, after that, so for me, I didn't really saw like the underground scene like it is now, you know. So I think that was the first difference for me.
And what about now?
What about now? But I think like it evolved like so much. It evolved so much, but I think it's good. But I mean, like any how do you say? Like any evolution, it's always hard. You know, you never only evolve like in a good way. You know, you don't only, you can't reach the perfect thing without doing bad things or without falling. So for me, it's like for the last maybe 5-6 years, you can really see that there's a big interest about. I don't really like the term underground because I don't want to separate like the different scene and you know. But I think there's an interest for fundamentals, you know, learning more about the styles, mixing it to what people are already doing, and and yeah, I just think that it went from nothing when I came to everything now, which is really good.
Yeah.
And obviously you have people that have always been there for the underground scene, like Renegade, I mean Uch and Rob, like they've always been like trying to pull out like this underground scene like into a mainstream scene, which it is now, I think. But yeah, I really think that the evolution of dance in the UK like is good. It's good and it's looking bright and
that's cool.
Ouais.
That's cool. So when say UK and France meet at events such as battles, who do you support?
I support my people.
Who are your people?
But my people, if they're from the UK, I'm going to scream for the UK. And if they're from France, I'm going to scream from France. For France.
That's cool.
And
cool. So
if I have like two friends battling, like one from UK and one from France, I'm just going to shout for both of them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, like, I'm French and I live in London, so I can't really, you know, I have to love both.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
that's true.
Yeah.
So I know you're involved with Be Supreme, In the House, Quality Street, probably a few more organizations. Can you talk a little bit about each of the companies or organizations and tell me what is your role within that?
Okay, so we'll start with Quality Street. So Quality Street is a collective of dancers created by Nasty in France. So I've been doing Quality Street for... he's gonna kill me if he see this video. Maybe like early 2000. But I know Nasty like since I started dance, because obviously like he's one of the pioneers in the French scene, and I used to see him like dancing, emceeing, like everything. So the collective, so it's different artists, mainly French, and who we work with on either theater shows. I mean, what you call hip-hop theater shows, or lectures, hip-hop lectures, workshops, just different projects. And yeah, so I've been like with Quality Street like for really long. And it's a good collective. It's nice. It's like family. It's like Septième Sens. It's you know.
Okay. What about the other two? In the House, Be Supreme.
So In the House. So when I first came here and I started to teach, we started to go like to different places where they used to play house, like Plastic People. Plastic People was really like the place where we used to go, like, because it was really good. And one night, like, we couldn't go to that club, and just like that, we just decided like to create our completely not. Rewind, select tab. How did it start?
Did you start it, or was
I started it. So basically, I started In the House. So I did workshops, a lot of workshops. Then I started to think about maybe having a company. So I started to do. I can't remember like the order, so I might be a bit confused. But I started to do audition. I held like 3 auditions. So where I choose like dancers to be part of In the House. So basically, In the House was to train people in house, do shows, and but mainly like training people so that they can be able like after like just to teach it or do whatever they want. But yeah, it was just like basically spreading the culture. So so for example, like the first generation of In the House, like there was Ryan Chappelle, there was Blay, Kudia.
Oh, I remember Kudia,
Sayaka,
Yeah.
who's now in Japan, Jenny, who went back to Finland, Tommy, Franzen, Tommy Franzen. Do I forgot someone? No. And then after that, who came? Paula was part of it. Calvin. But it was more of a collective. Again, like I didn't audition people like to be strictly in the house. It was more like having a collective, letting people do what they have to do, but at the same time like training house and everything. So at that time, I was working with a friend called Lisa Tully, who helped me like really to set up it as a company, have the website, like have things done basically. So, sorry, it's my crepe.
From a very nice place. What is it? Kata Kata?
Kata Kata.
Next door.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then to go back to the clubs thing, after our workshop, we used to tell the students like, yeah, like let's go out after. You know, let's go out to a house club and blah, blah, blah. And one day we couldn't go. No, we went and Plastic People was closed. I remember now. It was closed. And we looked at each other with Lisa and we went like, why won't we do our night? Like, yeah. So we started to do house nights at Oxygen in Piccadilly Circus because one of my friends was the manager of it, so it was easy like to have a place. And we usually, what we were doing, we were doing a class before the night. So I was giving a house class. Then after there was the house night. So it was really social. So we had people like from the dance scene and people like from not the scene, a bit like JoJo's, you know. And I usually had Tijo as a DJ from O-Trip. And or otherwise, I always got a drummer player or a saxophonist, DJ guest, like from Bugs in the Attic, for example. Yeah, and we just started like to get bigger in terms of movement. Then we stopped the nights because my friend didn't work there anymore. And after it was really hard, like I think that In the House was getting bigger in terms of performances, workshops, everything. So we had like less time like to focus on the night because obviously it was money, it was energy, it was time, and we didn't have it. So we just focused like on the workshops, on the lectures. We did like some house lectures, performance, so showcase, and then after that you just carry on. I think that there was a time like when like some people left, but some people had to leave the country, like Sayaka or like Kudia. So, but we were still like, we were still like in this In the House energy, but obviously like people were leaving and So I focused a little bit more on myself at the time. I just was teaching more, doing like other project, and then maybe 3 years ago. I'm really bad with time. I think 3 years ago or 4 years ago, that's when I ask Sheila, Anya, then Joël, Frankie, Troy to be part of in the house. So for me, I didn't want to do any audition no more. I just wanted to feel connection with people, and if I felt the connection, then I'll ask you, and if you want to, then done. So with them, like we've done mainly performances in different festivals. So yeah, that's it.
What is next for In the House?
Alors next for In the House, there's a loads. I would say basically next year is gonna be 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be 10 years, so we're just thinking about something for that.
Something big.
Yeah. Something in the house. For now we're just like trying to work on fundings, like for a theater show and for exchange, because Koudia, who's now in Senegal, she also had her In the House crew there. So there's a In the House Senegal, and Sayaka have a In the House Japan as well.
Oh, that's so cool.
So what we want to try, like in the next years, is to have an exchange with everyone.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, we're working on that. But for now, it's all the paperwork.
Oh,
so yeah.
The exciting part.
Yeah.
And what about Be Supreme? It's fairly new, isn't it?
It's not that new. Be Supreme was created early 2000.
Oh, okay.
I would say, I think 2005, if I'm not wrong. Should be. I think, or just before, but early 2000. And so it was basically a festival only dedicated to female in the hip hop culture, but not only in dance. So it was dance, it was MCing, it was DJing, it was I think there was also graffiti one time, but it was mainly like to celebrate women in the hip hop culture. And they had this yearly festival that was happening South Bank, called the Be Supreme Festival. And when I first came here, so few people that helped me, I would say. So my French people, obviously. So Dilo, Vesti, and Norman. Rob from Pro Agency, and Be Supreme, because they basically took me for a show. But that's when I met Marcus and them lot.
Yes.
Marcus, all the Philly boys.
Tucker!
Yeah. Like that's when I met like all the Philly boys, because they were here at that time, and we were part of the same show. Yeah. So there was the Philly boys, there was Malcolm, Yami, Sunanda, myself. So yeah, that's when I met them, and so we had this this theater show, and then from there. We were not always in contact, but they usually call me like to come and judge for their festival or to perform at their festival. So yeah, we've always been in touch without being in touch. I mean, in chat. Yeah. And last year, they approached me to be artistic project director of the studio. Let's say now the studio and the festival is like one. It's under the Independence umbrella. Just like to bring like other stuff like in the studio, help the marketing, and yeah, like just the visibility of it. So that was my first task, and the second task was the NCFE program, which was a qualification in performing arts. Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk about it in a bit, actually. Okay, so I know you teach at the University of East London, yeah? And as you mentioned, the NCFE qualification. How does it differ teaching in that kind of places or institutions compared to studio teaching, and how do the students differ?
It's cool.
It's cool?
No, it's school.
Oh, it's school.
Yeah, it's cool, but it's school. So it's more deep, I would say, because obviously it's a module. So it's a module in urban practice that is offered like by East London University. So it's different because first people are there like to get a qualification. In a studio, I mean, people come to have fun. Obviously to learn, but mainly to have fun. After a day, they want to chill, or they just want to have a good time. In school, you're there to learn. And you don't have the choice. That's the thing. But it's dance. So it's still a good environment and a good ambiance, you know. So I mean, it's school, but it's not like paper school. And even though they have essays and all that stuff, which is a big part in their assessment, but I mean, it's still dance. So I'm just going much more deeper into the foundation.
Okay. Like
into the foundation, into the history, into the musicality as well. It's just another approach. It's another approach, and I mean, like, people want to be there, and some people don't want to be there. So that's the difference with the students. It's a module, so they have to do everything. And if house or hip hop is not their main style, they still have to be there, and they still have to attend and be really focused, because they're still being assessed on that style. So,
I actually done an NCFE program with you, and which I found was focused more on the interpretation of the subject or the theme rather than technical skills, and it really opened my mind. So I wanted to ask you, where do you get the inspiration for your teaching?
I think it's experience and watching people as well. For the NCFE program, obviously, I didn't want it to focus on style, because I knew that I would have a variety of dancers with different styles in that program, and me just being focused like on my styles won't help anyone after that program. And it was performance skills as well. So for me, I was mainly aiming on people being just able like to open themselves and to try, and not to be scared of something, because that's the start when you can be more comfortable in your dance, I think. Like knowing where you come from, why you're doing this, why you move like that, what do you want to tell me, what you want to illustrate when you're moving. I think that's some of the really important part and skills that you need to be a good dancer. So to be true to yourself, basically. Now, in terms of inspiration, I've worked a lot since I started dancing with theater director, with people more into maybe acting. And the way that they approach dance, because they're not dancer, is completely different. but these are things that opened me. So for me, like when they gave me a work, I just updated some of them to be more accessible for dancers. But otherwise, like I just think of what helped me as a dancer, like in my personal career, let's say, and I just try to develop it as something to be teachable. So yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. It really, really helped me to open my mind, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad I done it. So if you have the chance, definitely do it with Clara.
Yes.
Yeah. A little plug. Okay, so what is the main message what is the main message you're trying to get across to your students when you teach, whether it be studio, university, anywhere else, workshops, and so on? What is that one main thing?
The love of it. Sometimes it's hard because I'm a bit harsh, so I don't know like if I really express it the right way.
Tough love.
Yeah, tough love. I think that when I started, especially here in London, my partner, who's not a dancer at all, he came to one of my class and he was like, "You're not in the army," and people, and not like he was like, people are not as passionate as you, you know. So you have to be careful on how you express your passion to them, because maybe like some people will find it like really aggressive. Not aggressive because I'm not aggressive, but I mean I think I was so passionate for what I was doing that I wanted people. I assume that people who were coming to learn would have the same passion as me. And I'm wrong because some people just, as I said, like just want, it's an after work, it can be an after work activity and just want to go, instead of going to gym, they come to class. Or you have people who want to get more into it, but not too much, or just the curiosity of the others, you know. But yeah, I think at the beginning I was really like, that's the way, you know. And yeah, I just think that I hope that I showed my love for this. I'm really passionate. Well, it's a bit scary. Well, it's a bit scary. I just think that not to sound cheesy, but in my whole life, in my whole 34 years life, dance has always been part of my life, and dance has always, how do you say, softened some of my emotions without me thinking like, okay, I'm sad or I'm angry, I'm gonna dance and I'm gonna feel better, you know. But when that happened, after that, I always found out that, wow, I'm feeling like this now because of dance. Like I feel more relieved or because of dance. So it's hard because once again, like I want people to see my passion, but I mean, you can only feel that like if you have a passion in your life, and not only dance, but you can be passionate by sports or by books or by something, and by food, whatever. And if you feel that already, that's exactly like I've seen something like on Facebook last time, and they were talking about how do you say? How do you say? Can I say it like slowly because it's not. How do you say when a man get hard but well?
But well?
No, but in a good way.
I don't know.
How do you say? You say erection?
Yes.
Okay. So I say it. No, they were talking. Sorry, they're kids, but no. They were talking about skin erection.
Okay.
Like how music how art, when you're really passionate for something, they were explaining like how your hair can just, that's your skin erection, you know? And I think that's the thing. I want people like to feel my skin erection and to have their skin erection.
Okay.
Yeah, I said the word too much, I think.
No, that's
no,
cool.
it's cool.
We understand.
Yeah, you understand?
Adults here.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I'm just thinking that when you said it, we both have microphones, so
oh,
that...
oh, merde! Oh.
Anyway. So tomorrow you are leaving to Senegal to teach for 2 months. Can you tell me how that came about?
So it comes back to Koudia. So Koudia moved in Senegal maybe 5 years ago. Not from London, because like from London she went to New York, then Paris, then definitely went back to Senegal. And in Senegal with 2 friends of her, she created an association, also like to build up the scene there, the street dance scene. And it's been 2 years, I think now, that they've been doing like teacher training, and I went there in December for holidays. But I end up like doing a show and teaching, which was really good. And they called me again for this teacher training for 7 weeks. So this summer. So yeah, I'm really happy. I'm really glad, and
well, they're really lucky to get you. Really.
I'm lucky to go there as well. So
yeah, that's one of the places that I want to go to.
So the association is called Sunu Street, and they're really like working really hard, like to promote their work and to get fundings. And if you're listening, they're still like looking for fundings, because what they're doing is that they're going all around the other countries around Senegal and cities to audition people. So they've auditioned like 25 dancers to be in that teacher qualification.
Okay, that's really some good work.
No, it's really nice.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Right, I must mention that whenever I see you, whether it's training, club, class, you always look fly. Where do you get the inspiration for your clothing, and does the way you dress affect the way you dance?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think I just like fashion, and I think I just think that it's important as dancers. I wanted to say artists, but more dancers. No, rewind. No, I don't think it's important for dancers, but for me, it's important to be able to dance in my everyday clothes. And also, now maybe you can go to clubs like wearing sneakers and wearing tracksuit bottoms, but me, when I used to go to clubs, like I had to dress, you know, even though like I didn't have to dress up, but I had to look a bit nice. So yeah, and yeah, I just like I just want to look good.
Let's be honest. So you also are known for doing showcases, whether it's hip hop or house, in heels. Is that the same thing? Like the same motivation behind it, just to be able to dance in your everyday clothes? Like
people talk about my heels a lot, but I mean, like in December in Senegal, it was so hot that I had to teach in flip flops.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like for me, it's for me the shoes like doesn't really matter. It doesn't. I think it affects, because obviously when you're on heels, your posture is completely different, and there are stuff that you might not do when you're in heels, and it changed like a lot, and maybe you feel more feminine or whatever. So you're just gonna move another way, but it affects it naturally. You don't. I mean, like I don't wear heels thinking like, okay, so today I want to dance more feminine. You know, it just affects you naturally, and well, I don't really think about it. I don't really think like. I just want to make sure that you know, when you go to an event and you didn't know you had to dance, and some people will say like, yeah, but I don't have the attire. You know, I don't want to be bothered by or not being able to do something just because of my clothes. So yeah,
that's cool. That's cool. Okay, so. Recently, you actually had a foot injury, but you still kept doing classes and auditions and performances. So, what is your drive? Like, what's the drive behind your dancing? What is the motivation behind your dancing, even when you're injured?
it was the love, I think. The thing is that when I got injured, it was the first time that I got a leg injury. I dislocated my shoulder like 2 years ago, but I mean, this last 3 years, I got quite a lot of injuries, and I think it's because of my non-behavior past. I mean, like not stretching well, like not having like this athlete mentality
Yeah.
that now I try to have, but I think it's too late. But I'm still trying. But I mean, for me, there was it was not even a question to stop. So what I did, and plus, like when I got injured, it was a really busy time for me because I had to travel a lot to teach, to judge. So what I did, I just like me, I was ready to do everything. At the end, I did everything. I had to call like all the organizers saying like, okay, so I have a cast, I'm on crutches, but I still can do it. And my motivation, not my motivation, but my inspiration behind that were the ballet teacher. Because ballet teacher, they're 80 and they're still teaching. They're still teaching. So for me, it was like, okay, so how can they ask like someone to do a sucha, to do like all the position, like all this, the spin, whatever, how can they teach the technique without really showing it or just mimicking it? And I just had to revalue my way of teaching during that time because I was still teaching at uni. So I just had to be more clear, which is really hard with my Franglish, but I think I did it okay. But yeah, like really clear in my explanation, try to work on stuff that I can mimic even on a chair. Yeah, and just like, because obviously a class is really visual, you know, and when I got injured, well, I thought about it before, but not too much. But when I was injured, like I really want them like to focus on how they feel it.
Yeah.
You know, how they feel the step, how they feel the routine, how they feel like more of a inner thing than like, okay, I'm pushing my hand, so that's the move that you have to do. So yeah, I think it just helped me to evolve in my teaching and also in my dancing. And it's been scientifically proven that when you get injured, a total stop is not good. But I did the opposite.
The opposite, yeah.
But I'm happy because when I came back like on my foot, even though I'm not fully recovered because I never had like a rest or a proper physio exercises like on my foot, but I was less anxious. I think that if I really stopped like for 6 weeks, like getting back there, I would be like really anxious and really scared.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like for me, it was, as I said, like it was actually not an option to stop.
Yeah.
It was just not an option. I would have done anything and everything like to dance.
Well, I hope that it inspires other people to do the same. Just,
yeah. I hope, but I didn't, like, that's the thing, it's all about that skin erection.
You got it. Okay. If you could meet anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
In the world?
Mm-hmm. Actually,
like,
let's extend it, like anyone, you know, in space and time. It doesn't have to be like a living person or...
My dad.
Your dad?
Because he passed away when I was 16, 17.
Mm-hmm.
So he passed away just before I started to become a professional dancer. And because he's one of my inspiration, obviously, like I just want him to see like everything I've achieved, you know. And it's just like at the like every time I have a big thing, I'm always like if he could see me, you know. So
it's cool. Okay. And if you would have a superpower, what would you choose and why as well?
But it depends on the day.
Today.
So I don't know. Maybe I don't know. There are times like where I would like to stop the time and just like appreciate like that moment because it's so nice that I just wanted to make it longer. Sometimes I just want to speed it up. Sometimes I just want to fly, to be able to fly. Sometimes I would like to be able like to change from a place to another. Sometimes I just want to be Robin Hood. I think I would like to be a multitask Avenger.
That's the first one. No one ever said that before. See, that comes from a woman that does a lot of things already, and you still want to multitask more.
But no, because it depends. I think, I think one power is not enough.
That's cool.
So yeah, a multitask Avenger.
That's cool. Okay, the last 3 questions come from one of the Funk Stylers TV followers and your followers as well. So his question is, who is the sexiest house dancer in the UK?
I wonder if I knew who was that.
I wonder.
I wonder. Okay, so my boys in the house all have a nickname. Okay. So Frankie is Mojo because he just had this aura and this mojo that is just appealing and attractive, and so yeah, he's my Mojo. Joel, he's the deep soul. He's the thinker. He's always in the deep like thought, and you know. And Troy, he's the sexy one. He's the sexy one because I found him sexy when he danced. I found him sexy. So, but for me, them 3 are sexy.
That's cool.
They're sexy in their own. But Mr. Sexy is that boy Troy.
Okay, I hope he's happy. Okay, if you had a chance to go back in time and change something in your dance career, what would you change? I
think I I won't change things, but I would add things. I think that I started quite early to do stuff like not dance, because now like people like start at 10, 8, whatever. But not in terms of age, but I started like quite early, like to travel, to be in shows, to be able to teach and everything. And I didn't have, I was just enjoying it. When I first got my pay from dance, I didn't believe it. I thought that people were dancing for free, you know? And I was like, well, I was about maybe 13, 14, something like that. And I was like, what? And I said, what, people on TV, when they dance, they're getting paid. I was like, man, that's amazing. I just thought that they were just like dance lovers like me, dancing in the room, and after like they could just dance on TV and it was cool, you know?
Yeah.
No, but you can get paid. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. But until I think that from when I started like to work as a dancer professionally, like everything went really fast for me, and I didn't really had time to structure and organize well, like all the stuff for the future. Like everything was a bit like today thing. And if I could change something, it would be that. If I could add something, it would maybe have, I don't like the word, but it's the word, more have a business thinking earlier.
Okay.
And it's not in terms of money, it's just, obviously like there's always money involved when it comes to business, but it was more like
organization.
Organization, networking. I would have done it like much better.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. And final question. What are your aims in dance that you haven't achieved yet?
I don't know, and I would love to know. And I don't know. It's like every time I do something in this, like for example, like this, like I've never thought of being a lecturer at uni or a project artistic director here, but when it happens to you, you're like, wow, like I didn't have the box, but let's make the box and take it, you know. And I think that in art in general, because as dancers, like I think we really need like to think wide in terms of our art and not only like in this specific dance floor. There's so much to do. There's so many things to do that you can have like millions of aims and not even knowing that they are your aims. Yeah. So, well, I don't know, and I wish like I hope I'm gonna know.
Yeah, you definitely will. You definitely will. So thank you very much for your time. I know you have a lot to do, like packing and paperwork, as you said.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you very much for spending this hour with us. And good luck on your trip to Senegal.
Thank you.
Guys, if you want more interviews like this, go on Funk Stylers TV YouTube channel, website, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're everywhere, as you know. And we'll see you next time. Peace.